When you combine tenacity and a big personality, you've got my next guest. Lachelle Bender has run a successful school that teaches nail technicians and is now pivoting to also cover manufacturing. Her experience through it all has given her a ton of lessons in business and in marketing. And you're probably going to want to listen to those. Stay tuned. Thanks for coming on.
Thanks for having me.
You mentioned that one of your biggest lessons was to trust yourself. How did you cultivate that self-trust? Especially as a business owner, there's challenges. How were you able to cultivate that self-trust to be like, I got this?
Honestly, making a lot of mistakes at first.
I screwed this up, and this up. That means I know how to do it now, so I trust myself to do it.
Basically, yeah. I think over time, when you make decisions and things actually look like they working out, you're like, oh man, okay, this one hit. This one good. It's like throwing spaghetti up against the wall a little bit. It's probably a little more calculated than that, but over time, you figure out what works and what doesn't work for your business. And so obviously you want to do more of what works.
Right.
So you get the best results. But trusting yourself, I think, is something that it's hard to explain, really. I think I really think it's wisdom over time.
Sure.
And it is a culmination of events and experiences and patterns and really messing up and saying, even if I mess up, it's all right. It's okay to mess up. So I'm a big believer in fail forward, fail fast, hurry up and screw it up so you can hurry up and fix it and so you can get on the right track faster. I used to beat myself up a lot when I thought I screwed things up. I didn't know all the answers, but the truth is you don't know the answers. That's why you're on the journey, right? You're on the journey to find the answers. And so you want to make wrong turns. There's going to be roadblocks. There's going to be setbacks. And through all of that, you're gathering information, right? To know how to strategically move later on down the line. And so I think trusting that I'm doing the right thing, that I have pure intentions, that it is making the type of impact on the people that I serve, I think that's what's taught me to trust myself. My students, they've taught me for me to trust myself because I know inherently how it feels when I don't trust myself and when I doubt myself and when I don't think that I'm doing a good job. So the opposite of that is, girl, believe in yourself. You got this. You're doing the right thing. You're doing it for the right reasons. The right people are going to be attracted to your light. And so I think that's how I learned how to trust myself.
Interesting. It's funny to me because with that, it's that taking that first initial leap. Mm-hmm. And you've had no issue with doing that, knowing that you're I can fix this.
Well, and I think originally it was really a faith jump. It was
Okay.
No, listen, I ain't really got nothing to lose. I already don't have nothing. If you at the bottom, the only place to go is up.
Yeah, sure.
And so I was in a place in my life where I felt like my life didn't fit where I thought it was supposed to be going. My life was hurting me. I was literally in physical pain from looking at my life look raggedy. It was looking like it was falling. I just got started. I'm 19. Why my life already look like it's going down the tubes? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so I think I wanted to see if I gave it all I got, what would I get?
And you've done well with that, for sure.
That's what I did.
You've done, a variety we talked beforehand, a variety of different marketing things. You were initially resistant to social media, mm-hmm. which, was probably a blessing in many ways. how did you balance, like, with marketing, looking at, okay, this is reaching out to people, this isn't reaching out to people. How did you figure out what was working when it came to that?
Okay, so I'm going to be honest. Full disclosure, I do have a degree in communications from the Purdue University.
That comes in handy.
But I did get that after failing at my first business.
Sure.
I went back to college after I opened my beauty school and the economic crash of '08. I blamed myself for my business shutting down, not thinking about the economy was a factor and the housing bubble and the bursting of all of that impacted my business. And I was like, maybe I need to go to school and figure out what I'm actually doing before I try to do this again. And so I did that. And so I was a 35-year-old college student. And by then, social media was the way of the world.
Sure.
If you didn't have a social, are you even really a real business?
Do you exist?
Do you exist? Like, no Facebook page? Suspect.
Must be a scam.
It must be a scam. Scam likely. And so that helped me be able to understand the dialogue that you have, I guess, with your audience, like that the transaction comes from people knowing, liking, and trusting you, and how your message is, I guess, connecting to something that they feel about whatever stage of life that they're in or whatever the service is that you're offering. So I think being able to like fire those kind of images in my brain about like, oh, it's really a conversation with your customer, like trying to understand their needs versus just pushing my product off on them and saying, come paint these beautiful nails. You know, there are other challenges that why are they wanting the freedom and independence and all of the things that come with working for yourself? Because that's what I'm teaching them how to do, be independent, right? Work for themselves, earn a living, not punch a clock, have flexibility, you know, build a life that you love and dreams that you imagine and not build somebody else's dream, right? And so I think that's narrowing the message down to actually speak to them like a person and not like an ad, I think was the most important part.
It's interesting you say that because Lindsay, when she was on here, talked about empathy. Mm-hmm. Do you feel like you were able to empathize with the people that you're bringing in as students?
I am the people that I'm bringing in as students.
Makes sense.
I see a lot of like the characteristics that I had as a very young person in a lot of my students. They're tenacious. they're ambitious. They're goal driven, and they're hungry to have something of their own. Like they don't want to work at companies that don't value them. They don't want to work for people that don't appreciate the work that they put in for them. They want to build something that has their name on it, right? A lot of them have challenges, from personal challenges to socioeconomic challenges, just trying to figure out how to navigate life. And so I think it goes further than empathy. If you can go further than empathy.
There's an association there.
Yeah, like I feel really connected to a lot of them because I understand exactly the space that they were in because I was also in that space.
So in some pre-questions, you're like, oh, he's going to those. You mentioned follow-up is big. Mm-hmm. And then in some cases that you missed on follow-up. Mm-hmm. We all have.
I'm probably missing a day.
Doesn't matter what day that people are listening to this. We're probably missing follow-up on that day. 100%. I understand this. I'm assuming you've corrected some of that, or at least taken some corrective action on that. What's been a big help for you in correcting and making sure that you are getting that follow-up with them?
being honest and being transparent as much as possible. I don't have a huge team or staff, so a lot of things that I do, I have to do, which means, more hours at work, following up. Email is big. Sometimes I just reach directly out, or I'll place phone calls to individuals who want information, depending on, how I think it might fit into what we're doing right now, the urgency of the person. They might say they want a class 6 months from now.
She
might not get an immediate call, but she'll get an email and she'll get a follow-up at some point. But somebody who say, listen, I'm ready to start in the next class, what I need to do, we're going to follow up.
So, I mean, you've pretty well done the marketing on your own from day one, haven't you?
Yeah.
You've encouraged others to get help with marketing.
Yeah.
Why? What do you think the biggest reason for some people to get help with it would be?
You save yourself a lot of money, a lot of pain and heartache when your stuff ain't firing right. Because let's just be for real. Like you know, especially in the service business, you know how to perform the service. You may not know all of the business aspects. And so the marketing is something that you can pay somebody to do. You can even barter. Maybe you don't got no money to give them. Maybe you can work out some other kind of, exchange for services, something, even if it ain't that. Maybe you do something else really well. Maybe you do graphics, but you're not good with, people have, in this world, you got to have more than one kind of skill. Let's be honest. So I do encourage people to get help with the marketing because you can you can step over a lot of the mistakes and get a clear line. Like you don't have to waste so much time trying to figure it out, just trying to do it yourself through trial and error. You can get somebody who can read the data, who can tailor the message, who can target the audience that you're looking to capture their attention. And so somebody who's well-versed in that part of it is going to ultimately generate revenue for you because that's the whole point of the marketing. And so you can attract the people who want the services that you are providing. So I wish I would have listened really early on in my career on the social media side. I was, hesitant. That's a kind way of putting it. It's more stubborn.
By the way you looked at me when you said that, I'm like, I believe she's using the polite terminology there.
I didn't have any experience. I know what I know now because I did spend 4 years in college studying marketing and communications and how we communicate effectively with each other. So I feel like a lot of mistakes I made was because I didn't know what I was doing. Sure. So you might as well find somebody who knows what they're doing. Pay them the money. They deserve it. Give them the money and get what you want in return, which is more satisfied customers. And they found you right away instead of having to look through a needle in a haystack.
It's interesting because you kind of remind me of the old story of there was a ship that the engine wouldn't start. Mm-hmm. They called in a bunch of different mechanics that all looked at it and said, we can't figure it out. They brought in another mechanic.
I know the story.
You know where I'm going with this. He hit it with a hammer and it started. Mm-hmm. And they're like, what's the bill? And he goes, $10,000. And they're like, well, that's not worth it. And he goes, right. He goes, okay, so it's $10 to hit it with a hammer and it's $9,990 to know where to hit it.
Hello.
And knowing where to hit it, knowing that, yes, yes, it does. When it came to promotion for your business, and I mean, well, first off, let's talk about your business for a second. You're teaching people how to become nail technicians, correct?
Correct.
You were the first school in Ohio to do this?
Absolutely.
So that's big. I mean, it is. It very much is. Don't play that down. It's a big thing. What was initially difficult in the promotion of that? And now I mean, you've been at this for more than 3 weeks. So what was the initial difficult pieces, and what are the difficult pieces years later now?
I like that question a lot. The initial difficult pieces were getting people to understand what I was doing and why I was doing it. So when I started, if we're the first, there was no other school that did what I was doing. So there was no reference point for me to be like, look, it's going to be like this. So people had to come on the journey with me. They had to take a walk inside my imagination.
Yeah. This is the way.
Come on, I won't lead you wrong.
I know there's no path here. This is where we're supposed to go anyways.
Build the path on the way. So that was probably the most challenging part. However, even in the challenge, once I figured out how to explain it, people were like, oh, that sounds like it's pretty cool. Yeah, sure. We'll give you a couple startup dollars, all right? I entered a couple business plan competitions, came in the top finalist panels and different things. So I was on this wild ride, and it was fun. And I didn't know what the hell was going to happen, but I didn't want to stop. Like, I wanted to see what was actually going to happen if I didn't quit. And so that was probably the biggest part, like not quitting, because, like, face it, if you're an entrepreneur, people tell you no for breakfast. Like, no. We're not interested. Not right now.
We hear it all the time.
You hear no a lot.
It takes one yes.
It takes one yes, but you got to live through the 7,500 no's.
Yeah.
And so after you hear a dozen no's, and, you know, it can be discouraging if you don't have thick skin, if you're not really built for it, if you're really questioning and doubting yourself. So I believed in it before I even saw it. So I was able to explain it to people. And it wasn't until I went through I got the building, I got the funds, I bought the equipment, made sure all the lights and stuff was on, submitted the application, and I went and got the application. And she said, oh, well, your school has been approved. And she called me on the phone, and I said, really? She said, we're going to put your license in the mail. I said, can I come pick it up? She was like, sure. And I hopped in my car and I drove to Columbus. So I was like, the school is got open. Like, we got our license. So my mom was like, oh my God, that's so amazing. And so when I got there, she handed me my license and she said, did you know you're Ohio's first nails-only beauty school? And I was like, can I use that on my marketing? She was like, I don't see why not. And that was it. So and it took me even after that a long time to use it on my marketing. Like, it probably took me 10 years after that to, like, outwardly say it. And so the biggest challenge in the beginning was, like, not quitting, because it's easy to quit when you're the only person who sees your vision. You don't have to share it with anybody. You can fail in private. You can you can cry all to yourself, and nobody will ever know that you was working on this big, beautiful thing, right?
Yeah.
And so now the biggest challenge, people have seen me doing the thing, right? Like, I've been doing the work for many, many years. And so the challenge now is making it bigger, making it better, building something that could possibly be around even after I'm gone. So that's probably the biggest challenge. People gonna come get their nails done. People gonna want to learn how to do the nails so they can make the money, so they can be, financially free. So that's probably not the biggest challenge. The biggest challenge is probably access to resources.
Sure.
As a small business, we don't get the pick of the litter. They're not just handing out money to us.
It has not been raining.
Yeah.
No one's making it rain for me.
Listen, I'm waiting on the day. I'm gonna be the first one in line. So, but I will say this about that. even though they're not just, doing it for the 99 and the 2000s, like cash money, there's lots of resources now that are not monetary, right?
Yes.
Like, so 20 years ago, we didn't have SBK. We didn't have Manufacturing Works. Like, we didn't have organizations that would help you build your business, help you navigate the landscape, help you connect you to people, just the connectedness alone. If it wasn't for SBK, I wouldn't even know you.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And so I was talking to my girlfriend, and she's a lots of my friends are entrepreneurs. She owns a transportation company, and she was complaining. And I said, listen, your money is in your network. The money is the resources, and the money and the connections they're there. Who's in your network? Those are the people you need to be speaking with and talking to and, having coffee with, whatever you need to do, because they have information that you don't have. They know, systems and strategies and different things that help them get where it is that you see that they are now. So I'm always big on referring people to agencies and organizations that have assisted me, because my list is long. I would be lying if I said I got here this far all by myself just through my tenacity. That would be a bold-faced lie. There have been lots of people who have lifted me, who have pushed me, who have carried me, who have listened to me whine and moan and complain, right? Like,
we do that?
Yes. Even if we don't want to believe we do, because it gets heavy, it gets hard. Yeah. You get tired of fighting for things that you feel like you like kicking against the brick. Like, it's not moving. I'm not seeing the progress. Like, I know I can be further than this. Why is this not working? And
that comes back to those earlier mistakes.
Yeah. And so there have been people who's like, Lachelle, you can't stop. Because at some point you realize that it's bigger than you, right? Like, it's bigger than this little dream I had of having this little beauty school and just being able to work for myself. Now there are other people attached to not just seeing it thrive and succeed, but their dreams are now a part of a dream you had. Their goals are now, attached to where it is you're driving this thing to. And so now it becomes more important to you to do the things that you need to do to make sure that you are crossing all the T's and dotting all the I's, like that you have done all that you can to grow your business so it's sustainable, so it's impactful, and so that it means something to other people and not just to you.
And so the lights come on tomorrow.
Yeah.
What is... I've got a couple of good kind of personal ones for you.
Okay.
What's your favorite thing about running your own business?
Hey, can't nobody tell me what to do.
It's your choice.
Yeah. Like, I was born to be a boss.
I think is apparent.
Yeah. It took me a long time to figure it. Not a long time, but when you're a girl, they're like, oh, she's bossy. She wants to tell everybody what to do. Like, I was always like the line leader. Like, I made up all the games. Like, and I was the tallest one. So when you're the tallest, they want to make you stand in the back of the line. Like, you got to be in the back, shortest to tallest, or you got to be in the back of the pictures. I'm always going to be in the front. Like, I don't care about them being short. Tell them to move over. Like, I wanted to be in the front. I know how this goes, even if I really don't know. Trust me.
Love it. I love that. Wow.
Yeah, so I've always been this person. Like, I didn't just wake up and decide I was going to run my own business. I've been running shit.
What? It's interesting because it kind of comes back to me because, and see if you can associate with this too. I had gone through a number of jobs in not rapid succession, but more quickly than I thought because I just didn't fit in. I was on the phone with my dad, and I said, I'm the problem.
Didn't take long to figure that
out. No. And in all three of these positions, I have been the problem. If someone says, hey, I'm thinking about starting my business, what's one piece of advice, just one piece of advice, that you would give them on doing that?
Can I ask a question before I answer that question?
Go right ahead.
Well, does it matter what kind of business, or is it just any kind of business?
Nope.
Okay.
If there is universal business, like I'm not going to start nail salon. I'm probably not going to do much with nails, as you can see. The fact that you closed your eyes and I held my hands up there, that's very telling.
Stop.
So what's that one piece of advice that you'd be like, this is something that I messed up that you don't want to mess up? We can come back to this if we need to. Just say it.
Probably your paperwork, like your licensing, the structure.
Get your stuff in order.
How you structure your business. It's important to start. If you start well, you'll finish better.
Oh, I like that.
You can start jacked up. I know. Like you can start with missing pieces, broken crayons. You can broken crayons still color. Like you can do a lot with a little bit. It's the story of my life. You can do a whole lot with a little bit. But if you start well, you'll finish better. And I say that because, you get in business. You ain't thinking about the accounting and the paperwork and the financials and you're not thinking about all of the things that it takes to actually run a business. You happy to be running your business and living your dream and doing your thing and doing it well, right?
Yep.
But, you have to pay your taxes, baby. You got to have your financial house in order, right? You got to separate your personal finances from your business finances. That's probably the most significant piece of information I would give somebody. Make sure you have all of your documentation. Make sure that you set your business up well so you don't have to try to go back and fix it later on, because that can be a very daunting and rigorous process. Like you don't want to have to try to fix it on the way.
Makes sense. You have something exciting coming up here that you're working on.
I do. Why would you bring it up?
Because it's so, and to me, to give anyone that does not know you some background, you started the school where you're teaching nail technicians. You started that approximately
2005.
So we're under 20 years, but we're darn close to it. Saying 20 years sounds tough, doesn't it?
No, because my daughter, she'll be 21 in January.
So you started this with a 1-year-old?
My son just turned 22. I wrote the business plan while I was pregnant with him. And then I had him and I started working at a beauty school. And then I got pregnant with her, and I was like, I'm never gonna get this thing off the ground. What is actually going on? And so I already had the business plan, and then I got pregnant with baby number 4, and I was like, okay, maybe I ain't doing something right. Like the math ain't math, and I don't know what's happening. And I got the funding I needed and the building that I was looking at, right after she was born.
Wow.
And she's going to be, so I call her my dream baby. Yeah.
So then you've taught.
It's been over 20 years.
Hundreds.
Yeah.
Of nail technicians.
The best in the city.
What's next? And give us the brief, the brief on this. This is, it's pretty cool.
This is an exclusive, Josh.
I feel special.
Well, you are special regardless, but
right.
Yeah, this
in my own special way.
Okay, what's next?
Yes.
Well, so we've been nailing the land, as I like to say.
Love it.
We nailed the land. Now we're going to nail the world.
Love it.
We're scaling our products division into manufacturing in-house. So we'll own all our own formulas. We will wholesale in bulk to other salons and individuals who be wanting to scale their own individual businesses and carry their own line of professional products.
That's so, I mean, you are really going holistic, front to back.
Yeah.
I mean, you can take care of them as they start and as they continue.
Yes. So that's
awesome.
always been the vision, right? To take someone from a student to a licensed professional to an owner of their own whatever. That's always been the path.
That's amazing.
Yeah, it's pretty cool, actually. I think I'm pretty smart, but I don't know if I did this all by myself.
As business owners, we've never done it all by ourselves.
Yeah.
But we've been out there.
Yeah, I think I'm willing to like take the hard blows. Like everybody can't be a boxer. You gotta be willing to get hit, baby. If you get in the ring, like if you gonna fight, you gotta be willing to get hit.
One of my favorite sayings is from Mike Tyson, where he says, everyone shows up with a plan that goes out the window the first time you get punched in the face. And that's exactly how that happens.
Yeah, like I'm willing to sacrifice what needs to be sacrificed in order for me to see my thing in the now, like in reality, like manifested. I want to turn the doorknob, walk in and be like, this is some cool shit. Like I want to, yeah.
You have, this is one question that I don't ask to many people, but I want to ask this to you.
Okay.
Because you've had such your path has been broad, I guess I would say. Right. Kind of all over the place, some rough seas at times. Yeah. You get the chance to say one sentence to your younger self. What is it?
That's, oh, wow, Josh. Really?
Just one sentence. Yeah.
One sentence.
Yeah. I mean, I have to ask difficult questions.
Yeah.
You did not think I was going to come in here and lob a bunch of softballs at you for you to knock out of the park. That is not what I do. I was looking forward to like you giving me this look of like you are now. Like, seriously? This is what you're asking me?
Keep going. You deserve it all.
Love that. Love that. To me, that is an awesome, awesome, awesome place to end.
Because people feel like you don't deserve it. And you deserve it all.
Put the work in. You deserve it for sure.
Put the work in. You deserve it all.
I love that. Thank you for coming on. I really appreciate it.
Thank you for having me. This was so much fun.
It definitely was.
Can I come back when I...
For sure.
Am I invited
For
back?
sure. I think the people are going to want you back. That all being said, to me, I mean, I started out by saying tenacity. There's some consistency in there. And as you guys saw, she's obviously got a big personality to back all this up that works really well and envisions just things that are so great, top to bottom, front to back, and gets them to work. That being said, do me all the favors, the comments, the likes, subscribe, and that. Make sure you take care of yourself. And if you can, take care of someone else too. I will see you soon.